Hello, Father Gilstrap. Thank you for doing this interview. Shall we jump in?
Absolutely.
Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Tyler, Texas, and lived there for about 8 years, but have been here in Nashville basically ever since. Different parts of Nashville, but around the Middle Tennessee area ever since.
And tell us about your profession of faith and your journey to becoming a priest.
Well, I am a convert. So when I was about 14 years old, my family, kind of all together, we decided to become Catholic. And so in 1995, I came into the Catholic Church with my mom, my dad, and all my brothers and sisters, actually at St. John Vianney, with Father Choby, and was able to receive, I was baptized as a Protestant, but I was able to receive all the other sacraments at that time. And kind of interestingly enough, all of the sacraments that I've received as a Catholic, I received from Father or Bishop Choby. So my first confession, my first Holy Communion, confirmation, and then ordination to the diaconate, ordination to the priesthood, all from Bishop Choby. And really for me, the Catholic faith was very much home. We'd kind of been bouncing around to different Protestant denominations and before we became Catholic, but I was kind of all in right at the beginning. And I spent a number of years, like a lot of men do, thinking about what I wanted my life to be like. I certainly was interested in marriage and family, and I thought that was what was going to be my vocation. And it wasn't until I was about 25 years old that I first really kind of took the serious steps to consider the call to the priesthood. And it was after a conversation really with God, but through Monsignor Bernard Niedergesez over at Assumption Parish, that I really started to consider seriously, and I entered seminary when I was 26 years old, about a year later. So, and then kind of the rest is history after that.
Can you share with us a little about your education and where you went to seminary?
So I did my undergraduate studies at the Pontifical College Josephinum in Columbus, Ohio, which was pretty common at that time in the diocese. Most of us were there. I got an undergraduate degree in philosophy and classics, and because I was doing the double major, I ended up spending about 3.5 years there rather than 3 years. It was supposed to be, of course, a college degree is 4 years, but for me, I had some classes I'd taken at MTSU and a couple other colleges over the years in my early 20s, and some of those transferred. So, but Bishop Choby asked me to do the double major, which I was very excited about, and so I spent 3.5 years there. I kind of had a half a year free, and so I spent a half a year, one semester in Spain studying Spanish. And then after that, I spent 4 years at the North American College in Rome, and I studied at Santa Croce for my STB, and then I did a 1 year of my license at the Angelicum, which is where Father Wogenbush went as well, studying moral theology. And I still have an outstanding 9 months to finish for that license, and I would love to do it someday, but I'm not sure when that's going to happen. And then more recently, Bishop Spalding asked me to begin studies for canon law and to get a JCL. And so I've been studying at Catholic University of America in their summer program. So I'm gone most of the summer, and then we have a class during the school year or two that we do online. But I'm in D.C. most of the summer studying for canon law.
What's your favorite food?
I like a lot of different foods. Really, I guess if I had to kind of nail down a favorite food, I love fish. I love seafood in general. I always have. Landlocked in Tennessee, it's kind of hard to get good fish, but you can get good fish here too. And I love grilled fish, salmon, halibut, grouper, love shrimp. So if I had to kind of nail down, I was thinking about this question. I thought, if there's one food that I would just not want to ever not eat again, it would probably be seafood.
And when you were in Rome, did you get any kind of affinity for Italian food?
I do love Italian food and know how to cook Italian food. I learned how to cook a lot of Italian food in Rome. And I do love Italian food. But they also cook with a lot of seafood as well. So, yeah.
Do you enjoy cooking?
I do. I love cooking. And have for most of my life. I started cooking when I was a kid. Really, camping trips and things like that is really where I learned how to cook. But I worked in the restaurant industry for a number of years and learned how to cook more there. And it's one of my few hobbies that I still kind of have, that I cook a lot.
Do you have a favorite childhood memory?
A favorite childhood memory. I really, I spent a lot of time camping when I was a kid. I was a big Boy Scout. I enjoyed the Boy Scouts a lot. I enjoyed camping. I enjoyed backpacking a lot. I backpacked most of the trails in Tennessee. And so kind of being out in nature and having the fraternity of the Boy Scouts, that was a big draw for me, and a lot of happy memories in high school in grade school from that.
What's your favorite movie?
I grew up watching, as a kid, I grew up watching Star Wars a lot, and my nephew, when he was really little, I would go and spend some time. This is while I was still in seminary. I would go spend time with my sister and brother-in-law and my nephew. He's my godson as well. And he must have been about 5 years old. And we had been playing video games for like the whole day. And I was done playing video games, but he wasn't, because he's 5 years old. And I said, "Hey, Michael, do you want to watch a movie?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, of course I want to watch a movie." And I said, "Have you ever watched Star Wars?" And he said, "No, I've never watched Star Wars." And so we turned on Star Wars, and he just got glued into it. And he totally, I left, and he totally started watching it. He's been a massive Star Wars fan ever since. Seen all the movies, he loves them all. He's seen all the animated series and everything else. So that's a lot of fun too, to be able to kind of share some of that with him too.
Can you tell us a little about your vision to move Our Lady of the Lake forward?
Honestly, the parish is a wonderful parish. It's growing. It has been growing, COVID notwithstanding. My hope is to simply keep that momentum going in the same direction. Obviously there are certain gifts and talents that I have, that the bishop saw in me, that I think I can use and utilize in order to take Our Lady of the Lake into that next stage. A lot of my experience has to do with management and leadership and kind of working through kind of strategic problems and issues, and the parish is definitely kind of on the cusp of a lot of more great things. At least that's my hope, to continue to grow and to be able to effectively, run the parish in that way. And that's kind of my main mission on a kind of practical side here at Our Lady of the Lake, is just to kind of continue to make sure that we're serving the people of Hendersonville as much as we can, and spreading the gospel in the parish as much as we can, and bringing as many people into the church as we can, and allowing God to use us as instruments of grace in Sumner County.
Well, Father, thank you so much for spending time with us and allowing us to get to know you a little bit better. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you, Christopher.